I'm talking with Devale and Khadeen Ellis, the husband and wife duo behind a multimedia empire that includes their hit YouTube channel, the Ellises, and an award-winning podcast. Now add a new book to their resume, We Over Me. In it, they give a raw and unfiltered look inside their 12-year marriage and 20-year relationship, opening up about everything from unplanned pregnancy to a pain pill addiction to talk of divorce.
Yes.
When you were crying, when you were coming out, the memories start to flood, and that's a part of the book. Was it hard to open up about all of this?
I would say it was hard, but we were very deliberate. One thing with Devale and I, when we started even just our YouTube channel or sharing on social media, we were in fear of oversharing, right? So we wanted to make sure we were deliberate about the stories that we chose for the book, particularly because so many people know us for the highlights, right? Instagram Reels, YouTube, funny videos. But Devale and Khadeen today took a while to get here. This is 20 years in the making, so we felt it necessary to kind of unpack some things in the books, the difficulties that we've had in the relationship, to show that you can stay together, have a healthy relationship, have a healthy family, but have been through some things, you know?
You talk about communicating and that being a key to your relationship and being raised in an environment very different. And how the rules of engagement for communication were presented.
So different, so different.
I had an opportunity to grow up watching two successful marriages very closely. I watched my parents and I also watched my grandparents. I love my parents because my mom too, you see my mom? She's small in stature, but I remember one time in particular, once me and my brother got taller than her, she would stand at the bottom 2 stairs and scream at us, and she'd be like, "You're not gonna look down at me." And we would laugh, but I remember saying to myself, I'm gonna marry a woman like that.
Wow.
That's gonna parent my kids like that.
With Khadeen, you have 4 boys. Jackson is 11, Cairo 6, Kaz is 5, and Dakota is 1.
Look at my babies. Oh, yes.
In the book and also in your social media where you share a lot about motherhood.
I do.
A lot. And it's interesting when you talked about oversharing.
Yes.
Because, you know, I've heard people say, you know, you ladies act like you're the first to go through these things. And you're not, but we learn through sharing.
Tamron, I had no idea, just even the differences between my first 2 children and my 3rd and my 4th, the opportunities that were available for me to be an advocate for myself, to make sure that I was choosing the right birthing plan and option. So after my 1st and 2nd child, I decided, you know what? I want to take autonomy over my pregnancy and over my care. So I seeked out a Black midwife, Takia, who was amazing. My doula dad here.
I love that they call you doula dad.
Oh my goodness, let me tell you, he knew more about my pregnancies before I did. And we planned for a home birth. And of course, naturally, things can happen. So there's an alternate plan in the event that things don't work out. But having our 3rd son, Kaz, in our little Brooklyn apartment with our family, I mean, my in-laws, my parents nearby, it was the most intimate, beautiful, memorable experience.
And I was so happy that you shared that, to be honest with you, because we do talk a lot about autonomy and body choices, and that you share this choice, and also how you took precautions, right? We're not just throwing caution to the wind here. You thought and took precautions. I thought that was a beautiful thing to share. More with Khadeen and Devale when we come back.
All 3 of our older kids went off to school this morning. They all went off to school. We was in the clear. Why are you looking at me like that? Yeah, I'm talking about you. We was in the clear. Now look, started all over again.
With the sweetest baby.
We're back with the authors of We Over Me, Khadeen and Devale Ellis. In the book, you chronicle choices, specifically individual choices with your relationship. And you said in it that you won't find a secret in here. There's no one size fits all. People look at you and they think, oh, they have the answer because it's 20 years and you've been through a lot. There's no secret code to this.
No, absolutely not. One thing we're very clear about is don't look at us and say relationship goals. We hate that. We hate that because we only know how to be Khadeen and Devale.
And some days we don't even know how to be that.
We're
still
learning.
figuring it out.
We're learning how to be the best versions of ourselves.
I love that because before you got the role on Tyler Perry, with Tyler Perry, you talk about the financial imbalance. And she was the quote unquote, I don't like this term, breadwinner, where you were shouldering that financial load.
We transitioned. When I first retired from the NFL, we transitioned back to moving to Brooklyn. I lost a ton of money in the stock market. You know all the stories you hear about the football players spending money on frivolous things. That didn't happen. I bought property, I invested in the stock market, but then we had the economic crisis in 2008 and 9. I lost everything. And we had to move back to my grandmother's Brooklyn apartment, and I moved back with the love of my life. And at that time, she said to me, okay, so what are we doing? Like, what are we gonna do? And I said, well, the first thing we need is health insurance. You're pregnant. She went, took her engagement ring off.
I sure did.
Put it on no, she turned it inside.
No, yeah, to put it in the jewelry box.
Put it in the jewelry box.
And I had, makeup was my trade. I used to do makeup at MAC. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna go get me a job. Took it off, put it in the jewelry box, put on a beat face, put on some black, got on the bus, the B44 beat
Got on that B44.
Got on the B44 and went to the mall and was like, I need a job.
And that's what I love that you share in your story and your journeys, because I tell people all the time, money is a living, breathing thing. You can have it one day and it's gone. And if you're picking your spouse by money, you are, that's a bad bet.
Absolutely.
Because when it's gone, are you gone?
Right.
That's a fact.
See, and this is one thing I'll say, our power dynamic never shifts depending on who's making more money at what time. You know, I was in the NFL making $500,000 a year. The minute I got cut, she didn't say, oh, I'm out of here, I gotta find something else. She said, what do we have to do? And I made her this promise. I said, I promise you, we will get back to where we were. And all she kept saying to me was, I know. And then I started a business. I have a very entrepreneurial mindset. I said, babe, I'm gonna start this business. All I need you to hold this down for this time. Let me start this business. And as I started the business and the business grew, the minute I said, you don't have to go to work no more, she was like, good, because I'm ready to quit anyway. But the whole time, she never made me feel like less than a man. I never made her feel like she was less than a woman for being too masculine. Like, we just supported each other.
I was also pregnant with our first son at the time, too. So it was also being pregnant, hormonal, having to work. I was like, I want to be home with my baby, first time mom.
It was a lot.
There were a lot of things at one time. But listen, we over me always has been.
I mean, this is so beautiful. And your story, your family, it's just so inspiring. I could not love you more. Because Khadeen and Devale, the book, We Over Me, is available now. When I tell you, if you like anybody, you give this to them. I love the Tam fam. So you're all going home with a copy of the book. Thank you very much. I'm telling you, if there is one